Hi, welcome Create with Kelley crew peeps. I hope there are several of you out there at lunch. We're trying to get used to this new time schedule of posting the lives at noon instead of in the evenings on Wednesdays. So hopefully we will have some folks join. Otherwise, hope you can watch on the replay. Whoops, sorry, hit the table. Shook the camera a little bit. I'd like to introduce myself for those of you who might be watching for the first time. I'm Kelley Pitts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Lubbock, Texas, and I can serve customers all over the whole U.S. Hello, Eileen. Glad you've tuned in. We're kind of waiting to see who all is going to tune in at the moment. Let me get my iPad set up here so I can see comments, and hopefully that'll be easy today. You just never know how the technology part's going to go. I'm going to get it set up on the computer too. If you'll be patient with me for a minute. Let's see. Okay. Gonna get out of that. See if I can type from the side. I don't know what the deal is of Facebook. I guess was bought by Meta. I don't know. Do y'all know anything about that? I'm all of a sudden getting Meta Technology Company here when I'm putting in Facebook. So I guess Facebook was bought out by Meta. Who knows? I'm not sure how that works. But I would thought they were a pretty big deal on their own. So hopefully they won't change a whole ton of stuff. Facebook changes enough already. Let me get this. I've got that now where I can see they rebranded. Yeah, Eileen, I'm seeing that all of a sudden. So they just rebranded, they didn't get bought out. They just changed their name to Meta. Is that it? It sounds like a test phase or something to me. Isn't that meta phase? If you're testing out something? I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking, okay. So I'm not crazy. I'm just like, oh my heavens, what are they doing now? But you just never know. All right. I still don't have my iPad going. I'm gonna have to get out of there, I guess, and start. Let's see. There we go. Maybe. If I can see the comments on there, I feel much better. Okay. And I think it's, let's see who joined. I didn't see that come in. The number went from 1 to 2. So we've got a couple of people watching, hopefully. And please let me know whenever you jump on so I know who's joining and where you're from. Glad to have y'all here. We are going to do a couple more cards from the Sweet Talk Suite that Stampin' Up! Is featuring for Valentine's Day. But they don't have to be Valentine's Day cards. I recently did this class, and some of the folks were doing happy birthday cards or happy anniversary cards. Because really, a whole February birthday, I heard some other demonstrators say, February is the month of love. So I guess it's the whole month of February, and maybe now leading up to February, who knows? 30 days of love would be nice, wouldn't it? So hopefully y'all will enjoy these cards. Eileen, I don't think you've seen these two. Didn't get to come to the Valentine's class. Let me show you these. These are the ones we're going to make today. See if I can get, whoop, I still not quite right on the camera because I'm used to more face down. But this one is a bookbinding card. Whoops, this one's a bookbinding card, and then the other one is kind of a plainer card. It's not going to be really difficult, so I had to do a mix. Did a couple of them last week, but these are the ones that we'll be doing today. I'm glad you like them, and I am going to have some class to go kits, Eileen, available with these two and the two that I did last week. So if you're interested in those, just holler at me and let me know. I will go ahead and turn the camera down and get started. Hopefully we'll have some more peeps join us. Thanks for tuning in. All right, here we go. Y'all be patient with me while I do the switcheroo. I don't want to make anybody dizzy, so I'm covering up the camera as we turn it down. We'll see how this goes. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. So y'all gonna have to give me a minute to get settled. We have that FaceTime lag where I can't can't see what I'm doing immediately. That happens in life, doesn't it? If we could see what we were doing ahead of time, that would certainly be helpful. Okay, let's see if we can get this really straight. And I'll get the supplies out for these 2 cards. See if that's at a good angle. I never quite have it exactly straight or centered, or that's straight on the mat. Hopefully, there we go. You can see that. Okay. Well, Eileen, since you're the one that's there, which one would you like to make first? I don't know. I'm still seem to be a little crooked. Let's see if that's better. Seems like I'll always adjust it the wrong way. Maybe that gives you enough room. Okay. Eileen, do you have a preference? If not, I think we'll just start with the simple one. We're going to start with the purple one. We had fun on, this is the cards that we made on Sunday, and I had 5 folks here at my house making these, and we just had a big time. Oh, you know what? I'm going to change my mind and make this one first because I forgot we have to let that, we're going to use, do you know, Eileen, what we'd use to make these shiny? Can you see how the candy hearts and candies look a little shiny? We'll see if that shows up on camera. It's kind of shadowed a little bit. Do you know what we use to do that? We'll just test out your knowledge here. That is our Shimmery Crystal Effects. And it's kind of a thick glue that leaves a shimmer. And I believe this is still in the catalog. It was in a holiday catalog originally, and then they carried it over. So hopefully it's still current. If not, probably several of you still have it, which is awesome. Okay, we will get this ready. And we're going to do a little fussy cutting. I'm going to go ahead and do that first before we even put the card together. Show you how easy it is. I wanted to do it real time so you know. And this is the designer series paper from the Sweet Talk suite. I believe it's called Sweet Talk. And it's in the catalog, the mini catalog, for the January to June mini catalog. I believe it's on like page 9 and 10. Yeah, Sweet Talk suite. Let's see. And this one, you can see I took the basic idea that Stampin' Up! Had here and kind of cased it a little bit and then made my changes. And a lot of times if you're just looking for ideas, then that's a great way to start, is with the catalog. You can do it exactly your way, or you can take an idea and make it your own. So I kind of just saw it, liked it, and then did my own and didn't even look back to see how they did it. So it is quite a bit different. But the designer series paper is called Sweet Talk Designer Series Paper. And it features Highland Heather, Pool Party, Granny Apple Green, So Saffron, Petal Pink, and Real Red. But today for the 2 cards, we concentrated mostly on the Real Red and Highland Heather that are in the papers that we chose. We're also featuring the Sweet Conversations stamp set that has all these that you can make a little cute little tic-tac-toe card if you wanted. I never did get to that. And it has the Sweetheart dies that coordinate with the set. And it has the cute little envelope that we used last week, little bitty envelope and tag and banner. So a lot of fun hearts to play with in this set. Okay. Well, Eileen, have you done anything fun? How's your son's remodel going? Renovation or remodel, whatever you told me that was going on. Hope that's going well for you. We'll see if anybody else out there is up to anything in particular. Y'all having a fun day while we're doing our little fussy cutting here. This, I actually took the rest of the cards. I took all of these out of all these little candy pieces were on one sheet of designer series paper. And I just cut them down to this size. I kind of knew I was doing 2 different cards. I didn't even have the full cards designed, but I took the whole page with me in a little bag, and I sat and cut these out while I had my hair highlighted and cut on one day this last week. So that's kind of fun to be able to do that. Take your project with you. If you just plan ahead a little bit, sometimes people think, oh, it just takes forever to fussy cut, and I'm not going to take that much time. But this kind of fussy cutting is easy to do, just sitting and watching TV, like especially if it's a Hallmark movie or something that's kind of formulaic, where you know what's going to happen. You don't really have to watch the whole thing. You can just kind of be looking down at your scissors and paper quite a bit and listen to the dialogue, and you know what's going on. I know some shows you have to really watch and pay attention, but that kind of show, not so much. So I just do things like that. If I know I've got some classes coming up and I'm prepping for them, I will just take a sheet of designer series paper and whatever I need to cut out of the paper and get after it while I'm watching TV. And I like to get the it's easier to me to kind of cut it into smaller chunks and then fussy cut instead of trying to deal with that whole piece of paper at one time. So we've just got not very many more. And I found it really odd that on the designer series paper sheet, it only had one of the little striped suckers that had a little sucker stick on it. It was just the red ones. So I'm just going to show you how we improvised and kind of made our own little stick. Just kind of cut us one out of Blushing Bride, and it worked just fine. You could do it for both if you wanted them matching. This kind of gives it a little bit of a different look, different effect. If one of them is cut out of this paper with a little white border and one of them is just solid pink. And you could save those little hearts and use those on something else if you want. But I think I'm going to be moving on after this set. I think I have 4 class kits to go that have 4 cards in them. So if anybody's interested in those, you can just drop by a little cash and pick them up on the porch. I have porch pickup that I offer. So that's kind of fun for the local folks. And for the rest of you, I guess if anybody out there is watching from long distance and wants me to mail them, if y'all want to pay for the mailing, I can certainly do that too. We are almost already done with the fussy cutting. See, I told you it doesn't take very long at all. And then once we get this done, I think we may just go ahead and get the card made and get all these on it and then add the shimmery effects. That might be easier so I don't make a mess. Get it all over my fingers and all over the other cards and everywhere. So now that we've got those fussy cut, we'll set those aside. You can either do that, set those aside and let them dry and put them on, or, Kelly, I cannot seem to always get my silicone mat. Somehow I steal it for my classes and then leave it in the other room. So I will be right back. Y'all can look at these cards again. I'm going to put that back up here, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm already back. Don't run away. Doesn't take long. It's not far away. Okay, we'll go ahead and do this and then set those aside, and I'll build the card. And this one, this piece of candy I had on the inside, and I didn't do it with the sticky stuff because I was afraid it would stick to the card and they wouldn't be able to open it. So I just did it just on the front. Okay, so with the Shimmery Crystal Effects, you just shake the bottle really well. In fact, I take the lid off usually, and well, maybe I don't take the lid off. I thought I did, but if you can kind of squeeze it around, with your fingers and get it going before you actually start. It seems like that helps mix it up a little. Okay. And it is just like a really, really thick glue. And you just put it on there, spread it around. And I would recommend doing it on the silicone mat like I am. Just so if you go off of the mat, you're not going onto your work surface or onto a desk or even onto a placemat that might get on your other cards. Kind of twist that off. There we go. Try to keep from touching it. Okay, we're going to move this one out of the way so I don't forget and do that one. And you can do it however you want. If you want to do it across, since this one is striped this way, you could make the little glue. It doesn't go totally solid, and that's okay. All you want is a little shine. You just kind of want it to look like a little sucker that's shiny. Are y'all doing anything special for Valentine's Day? Let me know in the comments. I'm curious to see what y'all are going to do, or if you have plans yet. Do y'all plan ahead for Valentine's Day, or is that kind of a last-minute thing? Seems like in Lubbock, Texas, boy, if you don't plan ahead, if you're going to go out to eat, you are going to be eating at Taco Bell or something. You're not going to eat at a restaurant because everybody goes out on Valentine's Day. Lubbock is an eating out town. All right, well, there are those little pieces of candy, all shiny, shiny, shiny. We'll see how quickly these dry. If they don't dry, because I laid it on pretty thick. But this, the Shimmery Crystal Effects, if y'all are wondering more about that, it's item number, let's see if it's on there. Wow, it's not even on there. So I'll have to check that shortly. I'm going to set these aside and let them dry. And we'll go ahead and put the rest of the card together. We're going to stamp. Sorry, I just grabbed whatever was handy here. And it is a messy, messy pad. It has been well loved since Christmas. Well, obviously, we've got Christmas on there. Alrighty, we've got, as I said, Real Red and Highland Heather and Blushing Bride are the colors that go along with this suite. And I'm just going to stamp Happy Valentine's Day. And you just tap, tap, tap. Whoops, I got the Highland Heather instead of the Real Red. We can remedy that pretty quickly. And we could do the Highland Heather on the front if you wanted, but there's not really any purple on this card. I would save that for the next card. We'll just clean that really quickly. And go with the red, Real Red. Just tap it on there and then look to make sure everything's covered well. And then I'm just putting this at the bottom. We've got that there. See if I can get everything in your camera view so you can see what we're doing. And just stamp straight down, straight up. Try not to wiggle. Leave a little room at the bottom. So we're doing that. And then we'll go ahead while we're stamping and stamp the inside. That's our front. On the inside, we're going to just stamp the little Happy to Have You in My Life. And then we'll stamp the heart over it in Blushing Bride. And we'll add the little candy. But the Blushing Bride I'm going to stamp off. It kind of tends to have a little bit of orangey, peachy color in the actual ink pad. So we are going to stamp the Happy to Have You in My Life. Let's see how I did that. I did it on the left. Thought so. Just straight down, straight up. Then we'll close up the Real Red, get out the Blushing Bride for the heart. And I kind of want it to be really subtle in the background. So that means I'm going to do second generation stamping, or what's called stamping off. And we'll just grab the little heart from the set, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to stamp first off on a piece of paper and then stamp onto our inside of the paper. Make sure you've got time to hold that on there and let it soak in, because it is pretty pale when it's a second generation like that. But this one, somehow it looks more peachy colored when you first stamp that. So I like the stamped off look to make sure that you could read the real red ink there. And then we can go ahead and use our favorite liquid glue on this, and I'm gonna get a rubber band or something, I think, to kind of keep that little lid, I guess you'd call it, on my glue. These are a great little bottle for fine tip. Give you a fine tip glue so it doesn't clog up a lot like some glues do. But whatever your favorite liquid glue is, and I kind of overdid that just a tad, but that's all right. Just put that in there, let that dry. Now we have our stamping done. We will move on to the next step, and if you keep your cap on your glue, you will... Snow is falling? Oh, really, Eileen? I can't really see outside the way I've got the window shutter thing. Big flakes. I thought that was going to be over at noon. We sure do need the moisture. I am glad to have a little snow. I love snow. Don't love the ice so much. That's the problem. Whoops. What happened here? Am I still going? Or did I lose you? Or am I still going here? Hopefully I didn't stop it. Yeah, it's still going. Okay. Whew. Got worried. It seemed like it froze up for a minute. We'll get our little bone folder out. And our cardstock is 4 1/4 by 11. So half, it's a horizontal half of your cardstock sheet. And scored in the middle at 5 1/2, and then also scored 1 1/4 inches over from that. So that would be, just depends on which way you look at it. Scored at 4 1/4 and 5 1/2. It's probably the easiest way to look at it. And we're going to make sure we've got this even, and then use our bone folder to get that edge really crisp. There we go. And we're going to fold this back. This is called the bookbinding fold, where it kind of looks like a old-fashioned little booklet. And we're going to glue this together right here before we add the inside. We're also going to take, let's see where the rest of my card is. Hold on. Kelly? Okay. Oh, I dumped everything out right here. Duh. I was looking for the envelope. Okay, and whenever you're putting a card together, you always look at layering on what needs to be done, this step versus another step, so, or the next step. And that means that before you glue this on, if you're going to have ribbon on there, like I do, then you need to put the ribbon on first. And otherwise, if you wanted to wrap the ribbon around the whole card where it showed on the back, you could, since this is all going to be glued together. But just in case you want to mail it in a clear envelope or something, I kind of like the ribbon like this, wrapped around. And I'm just doing a knot. You could do a bow if you wanted. Try to get this where y'all can see. I'll move that away, out of the way a little bit. And this is the white glittered organdy ribbon that is in the annual catalog, I believe. It did carry over for sure, so it was originally in a holiday catalog too, I think. Or last year's, I can't remember. But it is item number 156408 if you're looking for that. I do sell all the products that I feature in this video, and I certainly would appreciate it if you're shopping for Stampin' Up! Products that you look at my online store. You can go to my blog at createwithkelley.com and hit shop, and it'll take you right to my store. And I plan to post some sizes and post some pictures of these cards on my blog. It probably won't show up until tomorrow. I'm going to try to get that done today, so it probably doesn't post until tomorrow, but I'll have some pictures on there. And then if you take the class to go, if you pick up a full kit so that you can make these yourself at home, then the images won't be stamped. Stampin' Up! Doesn't allow us to do that, but you'll have everything die cut for you. And that will include a PDF. So you'll have instructions just in case the video is not enough. Here we go. And this has cute little pink and white glitter in it. It's really pretty ribbon. And I think I kind of did that maybe upside down or something. The glitter isn't showing as much, but it will work. Okay. Now, all we have to do is get this glued on, and I'm just going to use liquid glue. You could use your Stampin' Seal or Seal Plus. I'd probably do Seal Plus since it has the ribbon on it. If you're not used to using liquid glue or don't like liquid glue, some people don't. And just make sure you've got your knot kind of where you want it and have it arranged the way you want it before you put this down. I'm going to kind of move mine up just a little bit. Would have been easier to do that before I put the glue on. Just a little hint about layering, like I said. Do step 1 before you do step 2. Okay. There we go. And I'm just going to glue that done. Okay, I leaned score in half at 5.5. And then also do this. This score would be at 4 1/4. This one's 4 1/4, and that's 5.5. So you've actually got an 1 1/4 there. 1 1/4 room there, so that you've got this little piece is 1 by 4. This piece of your DSP, and then this piece of your DSP that we're about to put on. And there's nothing on that layer, so, and this is on the other side of the heart suckers. So you can just adhere this piece that's 4 by 4 over here on this side, and you can make the little dots go up and down or side to side, whichever way you want to do it. Hunky-dory either way. And I'm going to use, Kelly, please tell me you have Stampin' Dimensionals in here. Y'all talk to yourselves like I do. I always think that I surely have everything I need. Let's see if I've got Stampin' Dimensionals right here. If not, I'm going to have to run in the other room again. Oh, my goodness. Yep, I'll be right back. And on this card, my original card, I texture embossed that card. Let me see if I can get this light a little better. There we go. I used the embossing folder on that and texture embossed it with the gingham, but I don't really think it shows up that much. So I'm just going to do without it today. We're going to go ahead and stick this layer on. And I popped it up. You could probably, if you don't want to have a lot of kind of double layering of the dimensionals, you could put this one flat. I just kind of liked it all popped up, and I figured I was going to give this card, hand deliver it instead of mail it, so I didn't think it would matter. Okay, now we're going to get the Happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to pop it up and I'm going to put these right in the corners because we'll have the candy kind of in the middle part. Alrighty. Easy, easy. See, I told you this was a simple card. Just kind of get that on there. We'll go ahead and glue the inside. I'm going to glue this flap. This is part of the way the bookbinding card works. Just do that right there. Seal this flap down. I'm going to keep holding that and go ahead and glue this inside in since we're done with it too. We're almost done with this whole card. There we go. Isn't that cute? We will see if these are done. Yep, if I carefully stick them on, we can probably do that. And I am just going to make myself a little bitty sliver off of Blushing Bride. And this is going to be my little sucker end on the striped heart. I'm just going to kind of round this end. And you're going to need probably mini dimensionals for the small little candies, and you'll use the big ones for the big hearts. And I'm going to still be really careful with this. Yeek, it is still a little wet. Okay, we're going to come back and finish this one because those are still a little bit wet. Okay, we're going to switch over to our other card, which is this one. Easy peasy one. And we'll get the Happy Valentine's Day stamped. And that's the one we used with the other card. So it's right here. And we used Real Red on that also. And I just took, I think this looks a little bit wide. I just kind of picked a scrap piece. Yeah, I think I'm going to trim that just a little bit. Okay, we've got that. We'll do the Real Red on it also. Happy Valentine's Day. Just tap, tap, tap 3 times. And kind of try to center that. Looks like I might be a little low. I'm going to try the other side, see if I do a better job centering that. Tap, tap, tap. Try to get that straight. Straight down, straight up. There we go. And we're going to cut those apart. That seems to be kind of the way they do things these days. One of the little trendy looks is to have the words kind of cut out or cut out separately from each other instead of everything all in a line all the time, which I like a lot of variety, so I enjoy that. Okay, now we're going to we'll go ahead and stamp the inside while we're at it. And I'm going to do the same thing I did a while ago with the Happy You're in My Life. Happy to have you in my life. And I'm centering this one. On the other one, I kind of put it top left because I had the little piece of candy on the bottom right. So this one I'm going to center. And we'll use the heart again. I'll just use the Highland Heather on this one. And I think it's light enough the way this stamp works. Looks like it got cleaned off with a paper towel here. I've got a little fuzz I'm trying to get rid of. There we go, maybe. Okay, so we'll use the Highland Heather. And you can stamp it full strength or you can stamp it off like we did on the Blushing Bride on the previous card. Stamp that off. Stamp it on. And it is not going to stamp a perfect solid heart all the way across. It is intended to have kind of a two-tone, dark and light side. That's part of the whole look. So it's kind of more watercolory looking instead of just a perfect solid heart. It looks a little more artsy this way, I think. I like it. And we have 3 different size hearts in this stamp set. This is kind of the biggest and the widest. There are other smaller, narrow ones and some more squatty ones. Then for the inside, when you get a designer series paper that is 12 by 12 and you cut it down, really the best way is in increments that will go evenly across. So I just did 4 inches on this one. Our card base is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Just get those ends even. There we go. And we don't have a ribbon or anything on this layer. So this layer is just a 1/4 inch in. Since this side is 4 1/4, this is 4, so this would be 5 1/4. And you'll get 6 of those out of a sheet of 12 by 12. And just kind of look at the hearts. Some are upside down and some are right side up. So I guess it doesn't really matter. It's just sometimes it looks better one way than the other to me. But you will have, whenever you're cutting this to 5 1/4, you're going to have some space at the bottom with the 2 of these that you get going down, up and down. You're going to have a little space left at the bottom. And I cut that in half so that, well, not exactly in half. I just cut it where this would be exactly even with the band to go on the inside. So you've got the 2 layers of hearts there on the inside. We're going to put that there. I'm missing my little silicone mat I usually do all my gluing on. But it has all the little hearts on it, so I'm not going to bother it. That can be glued right in the middle. There we go. All set on the inside. And I have cut this out with the, I'm not sure if that's the Stitch So Sweetly or the Scalloped Contour dies. This one kind of looks almost the same. So you could use either die set you have, or if you don't have a Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine and you don't have any dies that do the scallops, you could just make this a rectangle. It would still be perfectly cute. And this one is glued down flat. And I'm just kind of looking at the other one. You would want to lay it out on your cardstock with where you're going to put the heart, so you kind of know about where to glue that. So that one's flat, and I actually popped the red up over this, and I actually did one with the Dottie Heart folder. I'm going to show you that one. That's in the annual catalog. It is not in the mini catalog, but it does have the heart texture. If you didn't have that, you could still use just a plain Jane heart and it would look really cute too. It does not have to have that heart background. And some people might think that's even too busy. I don't know. I kind of liked it, but I liked it both ways. Plain Jane or with the folder. Either way works great, I think. And I don't have can't find the Dottie folder. that I had minutes ago, but it's not in my pile at the moment. So anyway, I've already done that embossing. Let me see if it's by the machine over here. Yes. Okay. This Dottie Hearts folder, it's called Dottie Hearts Embossing Folder 155434. And it comes in a pair of these narrow little embossing folders that will actually fit through the small mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So that kind of makes it handy. But it doesn't cover the full face of the card. You have to kind of overlap it if you want to do that. But when you're doing a smaller piece like this, it doesn't matter. All right, I'm going to, like I said, I thought it looked better to kind of have a shadow from this piece down onto this piece. So I chose to pop both of those layers up. I'm going to see here how I did that. I think I just did like that. Just kind of close to that. And I just had the dimensionals in my hand, and now they're not. So I'm going to just cut one of these. This works just as well to use your edges. We're going to do that. Pull those off. Attach those to this. And I'm just going to kind of, doesn't have to be exact on my paper right now. Kind of get it lined up where you want it, so it shows evenly on both sides, I think. And I like the stripe across better than the up and down. I tried it both ways, but it's up to you, however you want it. Now we're going to attach this with a dimensional to the card. So I'm just going to use these little edge pieces right here. And we're going to do, I'm going to try to do opposite corners. Okay, we did this in the middle. The one below is in the middle, so I'm going to do these on the corner. And then we had these two dimensionals underneath here. As you can see right there, those are there. So I'm going to put this one in between those. So we have a triangle like this on the inside and a triangle like this on the outer one, if that makes sense. That way, no, you don't have two stacked on top of each other, but you still have some good texture and dimension to it. There we go. Just I like that kind of offset that way. Now we're going to use the mini dimensionals on these, and I'm just snipping these. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just try to get that kind of halfway in between each of those sections on the Happy Valentine's Day. And if you have a little too much at the end, like this, the Y is closer, I'm just going to snip that end right there. Easy peasy. And I think I did the wrong, no, it's fine. And it doesn't have to be exactly straight since you're cutting out around the letters. So I'm going to get those. Seems like they're a little closer to the bottom. I probably did the wrong side there since I corrected it earlier. There we go. Yep, that's what I did. Forgot I had it on both sides. Get those little scraps out of the way there. Now I'm going to take little mini dimensionals on this. Move this here. See if I can get this where y'all can see everything you need to and nothing you don't. All right. You could do 3 if you want. Make sure that that's not going to sink in the middle. You could use your take your pick tool if you want on the little mini dimensional backing. I'll do the same thing there that I did on the other one. The day is a little closer. There we go. Just make sure you've got the right side up or down if you've stamped on both sides. Just a little reminder. Okay. And you could do this however you want, layer it. If you don't like the up and down kind of thing, you can certainly change it however you want it. And you could certainly have one go straight across with the Happy Valentine's Day all the way across if you want. I just kind of like this style, and I don't do it very often. Don't know why. Whoops. And you don't really need this dimensional on the H part of the H end of the Happy, because it's kind of hanging off here. So you've got the dimensional here where it's popped up and makes a little shadow on the red, but you don't want it sticking to the purple because it would make it go down like that because it's not layered the same way. And then I think all that needs is a little touch of bling. We have the red rhinestone basic jewels that are in the annual catalog, and they are number 146924, and you get 220 of those. So the pack will last you a little while, and it works great for all kinds of holiday seasons. We're going to grab our Take Your Pick tool. And I love to use the putty end of the tool and just push the little rhinestone off. Do y'all like them like this, where it's in the four corners, or would you rather see it scattered all over? I'll let you choose, Eileen. If you want to see something a little different, we can certainly do it differently. Do it a different way, if you want. Hopefully you're still with me. I may just go ahead and show you a different way. We'll just kind of scatter some. See what we think. See which one we like better. I think I'm going to move that one. And I don't put them on really stick them really good until I'm sure I have them where I want them. So say here, I'm just going to do 3 on that one, and we'll have the little Happy Valentine's Day. You want everything to kind of flow in a circle to keep your eye on the card, and that's kind of why I angled these the way I did, if that makes sense. So there's that card complete. Which one do you like better? I'd love to hear your opinion if you want to say scattered or square for the... Oh, I got a scatter. Good, Eileen. Thank you, thank you. So that's an easy peasy card. And if you were looking for measurements, this one is 2 1/4 square. And you just cut out the die with the heart that's in that Sweet Conversations bunch that I showed you. And the little striped square is a little bit smaller than the 2 1/4. I probably did 2 inches since it's designer series paper, and you don't want to waste that. That way you have all the measurements, 4 by 5 1/4 for this, and then whatever size that is, that rectangle. Let's just see, it's about 2 1/2 by 4-ish, the purple is. And this is Gorgeous Grape. I think if you didn't have Gorgeous Grape, the Highland Heather would also be pretty. But I just thought with the red was so overpowering and so rich and deep that I wanted the Gorgeous Grape color. So sometimes you may be able to expand what Stampin' Up! Says exactly matches that or coordinates with it, or the colors that are in the paper, because there may be other colors in there or other colors that go really well. Like the Gorgeous Grape is kind of just a deeper version of the Highland Heather. So that's why I chose that. There's that card. Now we'll finish up our other card. And I'm happy to answer. You can put them in the top left of the purple to balance. Hi, top left of the purple. Oh, Eileen, was that before I went ahead and put them? Top left of the purple. Do you think I need some more up here besides these 3? I'll let you tell me that. I'll leave that there. Oop, I'm gonna move it over. I've gotta put our little candies on. Our bookbinding card. Okay. You could put, are you talking about more of the rhinestones, Eileen? Put more up here? You sure could. You could move these up too. You could move the names up here. The Happy Valentine's Day, you could move it up here. You could play with it however you would like. You betcha. That's what's so great about creating with Stampin' Up! Products. Everything coordinates, and you can be as creative as you want, or you can case other people's work. Everybody is happy to share, as long as if you're going to do it for a class or something, you would want to let somebody know that you cased their design. You would want to give them credit, just like I did with the Stampin' Up! One. I was close on that one. Kind of got my idea there. And so I try to certainly give people credit if I know where I got it. Sometimes I've seen an idea somewhere and then it percolates, and it may be weeks before I design my own, and then it turns out to be similar to something I've seen, but I wasn't necessarily looking at whatever that was. And I don't remember whose idea it originally was. And that certainly happens. I'm going to get... yeah, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to cut half of this. If you have some foam adhesive strips, that would be easier for the little stem part, or stick handle. What do you call that on a sucker? And I would say either have the end in mind or lay it out first before you actually stick everything down. We're just going to go ahead and stick this one. And I'm kind of breaking the borders of the white and pink. I think that's kind of neat to do. Not have to make sure everything fits in the white. Let some of it bleed over onto the pink. Okay, so I'm going to put these kind of a similar way. I'm just going to kind of lay these on here, kind of the way I want them. And then we'll add the glue. I think I'm going to do that one like that. And I usually try to ground items like this by adding shading underneath, but I tried it with a pink, the Blushing Bride blends, and it just didn't look good. I just didn't like it, so I just left them alone and didn't try to do any grounding. Probably could have used the Smoky Slate, but I didn't do that. Okay, let's see how long we want this pink. We're going to just add a little liquid glue to the top of this and then attach it to our little heart. So see, we've just made our own little stick. Just about as easy as cutting one and as doing the fussy cutting. So we'll get a skinny little piece of this edge here to fit on our little stick to make sure it stands up. If your stick is too skinny for the edge, you really wouldn't have to. You wouldn't have to have this raised. I just thought we would try it and see what we think. And if a little white shows from the edge, it'll probably just look like that other one we cut out. Okay, do we kind of like that? Do we want it at an angle? Do we want it up a little more? Do y'all want these? What do you think? You want it sticking up more or move down a little? I just kind of want them to be at a different level. Maybe I'll stick that one all the way up. Nope, I've already got dimensionals on it, so we're just going to move it down a little. And we'll use little mini dimensionals on these, since the big one is just a tad too too big, I think. Get the backs off of there, however you want. But I really think that the Shimmery Crystal Effects adds quite a bit to those little candies. And if you don't have one now, you can still order one and get it in time to do a last-minute little shiny on your Valentine card. If you want to get the kit from me to make them, or if you already have this suite, you can certainly make your own. And then add some Shimmery Crystal Effects if you want. Let's see if we have anything exciting coming up that I know of. Can't think of anything. I'll be doing a newsletter soon. I did find out that Stampin' Up's magnetic plate that we've been waiting on to go on the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, they've made their improvements on that, and it should be in the next annual catalog, which should be out in about May. So that's exciting news, I think, for those of us who have been waiting for that. And they did decide, initially they were going to do a little craft sheet to help with embossing on the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine if you wanted to use a die and emboss with it instead of cut with it. But this one works fine, so they decided not to even come out with that other one. But here are our completed cards for today. Thank y'all so much. Thanks, Eileen, for watching, and hope y'all are enjoying the replay too, for those of you who are watching that. I appreciate your kind attention. I'll turn the camera back around. Let's give this a second. So maybe the Facebook genies or robots or bots or whatever you want to call them will get a photo of the cards here instead of a goofy one of my face making a weird expression like it usually does. And then I try to figure out how to change the thumbnail, which is more difficult than it should be, I believe, to do that. So I hope you've enjoyed the cards. I'm going to switch the camera back around. Or back up, at least. Ooh, I need some lipstick. And we will let you go. Hope you've enjoyed this little lunch break. And if there's a different day or a different time that y'all would prefer, I'm open to trying new things. I'm just hoping I can get this one to kind of catch on a little bit. It's easier to do it at lunch and not mess up anybody's dinner hour. So hopefully those of you who might be working, you can just plan in a little lunch break and eat at your desk and watch on your computer or your iPad or something. But I'm so glad you tuned in today, and if you need any of the products to make these cards or any other Stampin' Up products to make any kind of cards, I'm happy to help you with that. Just give me a call at 806-790-0061 or contact me through my blog, createwithkelley.com. And Kelley, make sure you spell Kelley, K-E-L-L-E-Y, which I say is the right way to spell it. I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who disagree. It is one way to spell it. It's my way to spell it. Thanks again for tuning in. Eileen, especially thanks for your comments throughout. Glad you were here with me live, and hope to see you again next Wednesday at 12 o'clock or noon, whichever way you want to call it, at the lunch break. Fun times ahead. Thanks again. Bye-bye.